Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call the July 1st, 2024 Reorganizational Board of Education meeting of the Baldwinsville Central School District to order. If we could please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I have roll call as the clerk of the district. And can I please get a motion to resolve that the agenda for the July 1st, 2024 reorganizational regular meeting of the Board of Education be approved? Sam?
Second.
Tom? All in favor? Oh, sorry, any discussion? All in favor? Thank you. Motion carried. Okay, could I please have a nomination? Oh, I'm sorry, we're gonna move on to the oaths of office, thank you. So I'm going to ask Board Member Christina Favetto to please stand and raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear or affirm
I do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of
the office of Baldwinsville Central School District
the office of Baldwinsville Central School District
Board of Education member
Board of Education member
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Gonna sign your first child award. It's the only way to do it. Luke's just looking.
Okay, so, the following oath of office would be our ex officio student board member, but she was unable to attend tonight, so she will be here, either in August or September for her oath. So we're moving on to the oath of office of the superintendent of schools. So Dr. DeBarbary, if you please stand and raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear or affirm
I do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of
the office of superintendent of the Baldwinsville Central School District
the office of superintendent of the Baldwinsville Central School District
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Now, moving on to elections. Could we please have a nomination for the president of the Board of Education of the Baldwinsville Central School District?
I'd like to nominate Vic Jenkins.
Okay.
I'd like to second it.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Oh, any opposed? Sorry. Thank you, motion carried.
It's a harder job
Mr.
than it
Jenkins, I
was.
will turn it over.
Hey, Vic. You just didn't want to sit next to me.
Happy sitting
Okay, so, Mr. Jenkins, if you, please stand for your oath of office. So if you could repeat after me. I do solemnly swear or affirm
I do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of
the office of President of the Baldwinsville Central School District Board of Education
that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the President of the Baldwinsville Central School
according to the best of my ability. Thank you.
Well, thank you, appreciate that. Okay, moving on, next thing, resolve the nomination will be in order for the office of Vice President of the Board of Education of Baldwinsville Central School District. The board's discretion, the Vice President has the same powers as the President. If the President is absent or incapacitated. The floor is open for nominations.
Nominate for him.
I'll second that.
Okay, Jeremy, Don, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Andrew, congratulations.
Thank you.
Mr. Heavy, if you could please raise your right hand and repeat after me. Okay. I do solemnly swear or affirm
I do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of Vice President
of Vice President
of the Baldwinsville Central School District Board of Education,
of the Baldwinsville Central School District Board of Education,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Thank you, Tiffany. We'll have first our reorg meeting, which I think everyone understands a lot of appointments that are possibly the same thing we've been doing year after year after year, but required by law. So moving into that, the first one is appointment of officers, which is section 6, items B through F. Have a motion?
So,
Andrew? Christina? And that is, appointment officers, clerk of session, auditor, claims auditor, internal auditor, external auditor, school district treasurer, deputy treasurer. So you have an explanation before you in your agenda. Any discussion or questions on that? If none, I'll move to vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Now, the next section is section 7 and B through CC. There's a number of appointments in here. Resolve the Board of Education approve other appointments section, items 7 through CC. Sam?
Second.
Christie? Any questions or discussions here? I think it might be fair to note here that any appointments of employees are done so, I believe, with no additional compensation. These are additional duties they agree to, but they do not get paid over and above their salary.
That is correct. That is correct.
Okay. Any questions? There's a lot of things like records access officer, Title IX officers. Other discussion? Questions?
I have a quick question on the audit committee. Do we have, I believe we need 2 community representatives. Do we have both of them or just one as of
So
now? I
we
can't remember.
with this change and these, with this approval, you're also updating the charter, which does allow for up to 2 community members. We have one that you're appointing this evening, and the other one we're still soliciting interest based on the conversation at the last audit committee meeting, we're looking for somebody with some technology experience based on the most recent audits.
Thank you.
So at some point, the board will have to just appoint that additional person once we're able to fill that vacancy.
So they can join whenever, and
Yep.
then we just appoint them in a meeting like this?
Yep.
Okay, great, thank you.
Question? Anything else? Let's move to vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. And then I think our next area is the designations section. Oh, no, let me just back up a minute. We do have an appointment for the external civil rights compliance officer, is that correct?
That's part of, that was part of.
Was that part, I'm sorry, okay. Okay, so, next is the designations, and it is the Board of Education approved designations, section 8, items items B through F, which is our official depositories, our meeting dates, newspapers, official newspapers, hearings officers, etc. Do I have a motion? Wayne? Luke? Any other questions, discussions on that? Again, these are all done every year. Well, let's move to vote then. Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Next is the authorizations section. Resolve the Board of Education approve authorizations, section 9, items B through H. Petty cash, authorization of credit cards, certification of payrolls, people that are authorized to do that.
Second.
I'm sorry, do I not ask for a second yet? Okay, so Don and Tom, okay, is that what I had? And, any questions or discussions on those areas? Again, you have all those appointments before you on your agenda. Hearing none, I will move to vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. And congratulations, you've concluded your reorganization meeting. Okay, thank you. Oh, did I miss one? Did I miss a? Oh, excuse me, I am sorry. Okay, so, yes, number 10, this was an important one, isn't it? Number 10, resolve the Baldwinsville Central School District utilize a faithful performance blanket bond in lieu of specific performance bonds for the 2024-2025 fiscal year.
So moved.
Jeremy?
Second.
Wayne? And maybe we should have just a brief explanation here, Joe.
Tiffany?
Yeah, so, annually, we approve the faithful performance blanket bond instead of individually naming, certain, officers, appointed within the district, so that the blanket bond covers all of those officers and appointed officials.
So then anybody that is, does anything here has to adhere to that bond versus, or have to agree to adhere to that versus have an individual bond, much easier.
Correct.
Okay, but, so everybody that does work is bonded through this general bond.
Yes.
Okay. Any other discussion, questions? Hearing none, we'll move to vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. And now I think the last one, section 11, items B through G, which is just other items. Resolve the Board of Education approve other items, section 11, items B through G. A motion, please. Don? Luke? any discussion, this course is with policies, mileage reimbursement, building use fee, and I think, yeah, so it's okay. Yeah.
I did notice the name of one of our occasional bus drivers on the top of the list there, which I very much enjoy. But I actually had a question of, so the volunteer drivers, those are non-compensated, or?
So the volunteer drivers are individuals that aren't certificated employees with the New York State Department of Education. So that's the difference between occasional driver and volunteer driver. Occasional drivers are certified employees, teachers, administrators. Volunteer drivers are other employees that are not certificated by the state education
By
department.
the state, but are being authorized to drive a district vehicle?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. Could be with students. There's a couple of coaches there that aren't
Yep.
teachers, and then there's some support staff members that may have a need to use a vehicle.
Right, that makes sense, thank you.
Thank you, I was gonna explain that, and I appreciate you pointing that out. So they don't have a CDL license, they are limited, a volunteer is limited 15 times per session, I think.
Volunteer is no more than 30 days total throughout the school year, but they cannot have more than 15 individuals that they're transporting. So for us, based on the size of our vehicles, it's just the Suburban. So the maximum anybody's gonna be able to drive, either occasional or volunteer, is 6, 7 students.
Okay, so yeah, I'm glad we brought that to explanation, thank you. Okay, any other questions, thoughts? We will vote, those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, motion carries, thank you. And with that, are we really done this time? Okay, okay, I think we're done with our reorg, thank you. Okay, so we'll move into our regular meeting. Resolve the Board of Education enter into the general session of the regular board meeting, July 1st, 2024. So, Don? Wayne? Probably no discussion. Would you vote those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. And then we're ready for correspondence, board activities, or any committee reports. We don't have any committees that are reporting in tonight. So in the past, we had, of course, our last work session on the 17th of June. I don't know that we have anything left on that. The other thing that most people may want to talk about is June 22nd, which was a very exciting and wonderful day, the day you look forward to all year for graduation. And the first order of business would be just to tell our high school principal and the support staff and all the people involved what a wonderful job they did. So thank you, and congratulate those kids. So anybody else have reflections on the day? Those of you who, this is the first time as a Board of Education member, I hope you were very pleased and impressed with the program. Right, Jeremy, what do you think?
Sure. No, it was incredible. I thought from it, first of all, it's being a great facility to have it at. Chris Denton did an amazing job emceeing. All the speakers were great. It was fun to hear the kids, student body presidents, and the top two students academically give speeches. They did a great job. And we had the best seats in the house, so it was good to watch.
I thought the chorus and the band were amazing, and the young woman that sang the national anthem, I mean,
Yeah.
she was something else, I'll tell you, to just walk up and be able to do that. It looked effortless, you know, so she was terrific. And the other thing that really impressed me was I thought Chris Denton obviously had a really good relationship with the students. You know, several of did like, you know, chest
Hand-
bumps or fist
handshakes.
bumps or different handshakes or whatever, yeah, so that was really impressive.
That's great. And not only were we able to recognize over 400 student graduates, we recognized the service dog who did a great job, right? So, anyway, good. Okay, moving on, upcoming meetings, of course, nothing more in July, right now, but then August 5th will be our next regular meeting, and anything else coming up? Okay, if not, we'll move on. Brett?
You know, if you wanted, did you want to read that?
Oh, thank you, yes, I appreciate that, this is the right time for that. We did receive a card from Leo Johnson, who was honored recently at the Hall of Fame inductions. And he says, "Dear Board of Education, I want to say thank you to you, to all the members of the board for honoring me during this June, the dedication of the new gym. It was truly amazing, and I was speechless at the presentation. I know that the Board of Education had much to do with this selection, so hats off to them on my behalf. Again, thank you for everyone's part in the dedication. Coach Leo, go, and then go Bees." Thank you for reminding me. Yeah. Okay, anything else? I know there's August 1st is a law conference. I know, actually July, you're going to the leadership conference, I think, so, good. So we'll have some other opportunities for, stuff along the summer for education. Okay, I guess moving along, next is request to speak. And we do like to hear from the public. We do ask for consideration of time and courtesy to everyone to model what we expect from our students. And Tiffany, do we have any requests tonight?
No, we do not.
Okay, thank you. Okay, then I think we're ready for the consent agenda. Resolve the Board of Education approve the consent agenda pursuant to the attached. Luke?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Tom? Okay, with that, is there any questions or discussion on the consent agenda? We have some appointments on here, a trip, but everything I think is been reflected. Don, question?
Just a quick question, because I wasn't smart enough to tease it out of here, if it's here, I'm just wondering if, from the instructional staff perspective, does this include some of the things we were talking about a few weeks ago about special ed teachers?
Yes and no. We still have only two positions left, two special ed positions we're in the process of interviewing for. That should be the remaining hiring that we need for probationary positions. We do have a couple other term positions that will fill short term, but they're going through that process right now. One of them is on there, that's the intervention specialist. That's being appointed tonight.
So the others are coming.
The other ones will be here for hopefully, for the August 5th meeting.
Andrew?
Joe, I noticed that there was a lot of resignations on the substitute teachers and alternate teachers and teachers assistant. Can you explain that?
Yes. So every year we have changes. They do the reasonable assurance letters that they send out for regular full-time staff, but we also have confirmation from the substitutes. And so a lot of times, some of those names that are on there are individuals that when they retired, they thought they were going to sub for us, and then just with changes in life and enjoying retirement, they choose not to. So some of them are based on that. Others are just resignations from some teaching assistants that are going to other positions. I think there's a few that are looking for work, getting teaching jobs in Yep.
Okay, any other questions? Hearing none, I think we'll proceed to vote then. Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Next item, resolve the Board of Education approve consent agenda contracts agreement in section 17, items B through P.
I was just gonna ask a question. Well, I know,
We need a
that's why I
motion.
paused,
Yeah.
that's why I paused,
Yeah.
yep.
So,
Don, Luke, okay. In order for questions now.
All right. I think that I remember when we were talking about this for that the BOCES copier lease agreement has been reduced quite a bit, right? Or something changed there?
It's a new agreement that we approve these agreements periodically throughout the year. It's a new agreement on this agenda for the reorg, just based on timing of getting that in place. Tiffany may have more specifics about the location.
Yeah, so, there are, these are copiers for our nursing offices. They've come due, some were even 8 years old, so we were looking to renew those, and by moving it to a BOCES lease, because they were district leases previously, we're able to get more competitive pricing and also stay back on those leases.
Thank you. Okay. I think one other item that may be in order here is to explain O and P. So you know, for our pre-K, we've been limited to about 200 students because of facilities constraints. And the district, Joe, why don't you
So
know
we
more
have,
about it?
this year, we have 2 classrooms beyond the classrooms that we have in district. We have a classroom for 24-25 at the YMCA on River Road, and then Little Luke's Preschool Child Care Center within the district boundaries. So we're able to, through collaboration agreement, the board is, in this case, authorizing that agreement. When we first started Universal Pre-K, we did not have the space. We did have a collaborator. This just helps us, number one, give more students an opportunity to engage in Universal Pre-K curriculum and instruction and learning. And it also allows us to get more aid back because we have that collaboration. So it's a win-win for us.
And we do have some control over the curriculums there. I mean, they are approved and they must meet certain facility standards as well.
Yes, they have to meet facility standards, and they have to follow the New York State learning standards for Universal Pre-K.
Sam?
Just item G with the contract for the Greater Baldwinsville Ambulance Corps, is that the same as last year?
It is the same agreement. We have, I believe we added a few additional dates, but the rate per hour went up from 120 to 150.
Maybe also note is that we are adding a .5 athletic trainer. So
Correct.
we're increasing our training time for our student athletes.
So we will have now what is equivalent to 2 full-time athletic trainers in district, working with our students and coaches.
Okay, good points. Anything else that you see there that might raise a question or you want to discuss? Hearing none, I think we're ready to move to vote then. Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. So, I believe we're down to 18. Resolve the Board of Education approve the 2024-2025 Board of Education district goals pursuant to the attached. Luke?
Second.
Wayne, thank you. So I think we're pretty familiar with these, but any other thoughts? Okay, hearing none. Those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. item B, resolve the Board of Education approve the Board of Education Standing Committee assignments for the 2024-2025 school year pursuant to the attached. Don?
Second.
Luke? So we previously discussed this. I don't know if there's any other thoughts.
Just for clarification, we can attend even though we're not on the committee as an audience member, correct?
Correct. You can attend anything, so you do not have a voice or vote at those meetings. But certainly welcome to attend. Okay? Okay. Ready, those in favor? Opposed? Okay, motion carries, thank you. So, I am not sure how Luke managed to get off policy, but I see Andrew and Don will, carry on, I know. But, and of course, with Tom and Jeremy, there'll be no issues there now, so, okay. Okay. Then moving to item C, resolve the Board of Education approve a 5% decrease to the dental plan premium rate with Baldwinsville Central School District for 2024-2025 school year. Sam?
Second.
Jeremy? Now, I'm sure there's no discussion on a decrease, right? A cost decrease. So, unless Luke has a question.
I was gonna say we're saving money.
Okay. Okay, those in favor? Those opposed? Motion carries, thank you. D, resolve the Board of Education will approve the Baldwin Central School District school lunch prices for 2024-2025 school year as per attached. Christine, Wayne?
But I do have a question, I thought it was.
It is.
Oh.
Yeah,
But
so-
we have to, publish the prices so they get one meal free. If somebody wants a second lunch or breakfast, they would have to, pay for that, and also just keeping up with the requirements for, the federal child nutrition program.
Yeah, so, good question. Lunch is free for all students, one lunch, second lunch would be, and they're only going up 5 cents, I think, so that's not bad. But if, you show up and want a lunch, then you're gonna pay, okay?
So,
Okay.
in the event that school lunches become unfree, our milk is still 85 cents?
What you see
Just-
listed there
just making
is,
sure. Okay.
it is the price, yes,
All right.
at this point in time.
Sounds good, thank you.
I just have a couple of quick questions, or one. The offset of the community eligibility provisions, is that anticipated to go through the whole school year? Is there an expiration date, or?
If I remember correctly, when we were approved mid-year, it was a 5-year, unless we
Okay.
change our boundaries and configuration and things like that, then we have to go through that process again. But at this point, we should be good for a 5-year period.
Perfect, so first lunches will be at no cost to all students.
Correct.
And then this is if they need a second lunch.
Correct. Or breakfast.
Or breakfast. And I guess my only real question is more probably moving forward after this provision needs to be revisited. But comparatively, our school lunches seem a little bit higher than our neighboring districts. Are we part of a BOCES food purchasing, or we do everything ourselves in-house?
So it's a combination thereof with what it is that, where we purchase. But where they set their prices, from my understanding, these prices are pretty much in alignment with what is being recommended from the federal nutrition program based on our reimbursement. So from district to district, it's gonna vary.
Perfect.
I'm glad that we have that offset though for students at least for the next 4.5 years.
And my hope, personal hope would be that at some point, I would think that we're gonna find ourselves in a place where, it's free potentially for all students. I know the legislature and other agencies have been trying to push that, for all students in the school, so we'll see. Hopefully 5 years gives them enough time to figure that out.
I'll add to that, and I think just about every building, they also have in the cafeterias additional, like if I don't wanna eat my banana that came with my lunch, I can put it in a spot that anybody who wants an extra banana can just go grab it. So,
That's fantastic, and I hope, all the students know about that, so we're not wasting good food. And those that may need a little bit more that they can't get at home have that opportunity, so that's fantastic.
Okay, any questions? Anything else? Proceed to vote then, those in favor? Opposed? Okay, so we've got one dissent. Okay, motion does carry, thank you. And, item E, resolve the Board of Education approve the course revisions for earth science and living environment pursuant to the attached. Wayne, Christie, can we just get, I know this is driven, I think, by the state, Renee?
It sure is. So it's just part of the transition to the new standards. And so you'll have a name change from living environment back to biology, which is what it used to be when I was in school. And so, yeah, what goes around comes around, right? And then for earth science, the name change will be earth and space sciences. And then all of the new standards that come with those courses are also listed in this document.
Any other questions or discussions on that? Okay, then hearing none, those in favor? Those opposed? Motion carries. Item F, resolve the Board of Education approve the Baldwinsville Central School District Safety Plan pursuant to the attached. John? Tom? Can you just, this is pretty much the same, I think, right? Any updates on this, Joe?
Just minor name changes, personnel, but for the most part, this is what was presented at the, public hearing in May, and we did not receive any additional comments from the general public when it was posted for 30 days, and so we're proceeding forward with the plan as presented.
Okay. Any other discussion? Those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Item G, resolve the Board of Education approve revisions to the Baldwinsville Central School District Code of Conduct pursuant to the attached. Luke? Andrew? So we have already seen that code of conduct, and they've had a comment period now, so, is there any other thoughts or discussions on that?
There were no changes made, right?
What you saw was the final?
Yeah, not from the public hearing.
Okay. Okay, probably rehashed that one enough, so move the vote, those in favor? Those opposed? Motion carries. Item H, resolve the Board of Education approve the fund balance management plan pursuant to the attached. Luke? Christie? And that was a very complete document that Tiffany put together. I forget how many pages, Tiffany, 12, 14, something like that. So, and I do know that one of the things we have to be careful about, we can carry fund balances, but we have to show they're not exorbitant. We have to use them, and you are using some fund balance, and when you have a chance, you're restoring some fund balance. So I don't know if there's any other discussion or questions. The only comment I'll make on that is that if you look at her graphs on that, is that in the future, the expenses start to be higher than our revenues. So we must continue to be very careful with how we spend money. Obviously, we've been in very good financial shape and we must stay that way.
Victor, I just want to dovetail, you actually stole my thunder, but there's a really good, I am fantastically genetically opposed to continued fund balances when taxpayer money is involved. But based on the numbers we've got, looking at where things are going, I think at the moment it's a good idea.
You're very correct, there's a balance, right? There's a balance, although I will relate to you, a local school district got a review from the state auditor that said you carried too high fund balances. So they spin them down, and about 3 years later, they were on the financially stressed list for the state. So it is a balance, but anyway. No other questions, I guess, ready to vote, guys? Okay, those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. And now, item I, resolve the Board of Education approve the federal uniform guidance plan pursuant to the attached. Sam? Luke? Very brief explanation here. This is just our annual requirement, I believe, right?
Yeah, so these are the guiding principles for our federal programs, and we have used this as a guidance document district-wide with our finances.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Questions, discussions? Okay, probably ready to vote. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item J, resolve the Board of Education accept the independent audit report for the Baldwinsville Central School District for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2024, that was presented by the Arcangelo and Company, LLP, and the corrective action plan pursuant to the attached. So, Andrew? Wayne? So I do recall we had a very solid audit, and there was only a one or two things, right, Tiffany?
Yes, it was a focus mainly on information technology. We have come a long ways since our last review, and we have items to work on going forward.
And what did we ever decide to do about the food service program that they use?
So Donna's looking into that because there was, the information that we had initially received, and she's looking to see if there is a way to make that work and the functionality, the NutriKids transitioning to the more, I guess, secure version. But we're not ready to do that at this point in time. Likely, if there is a transition, if we can make something happen mid-year, or it will be for the start of the 25-26 school year, and we just have to recognize that there's that potential added risk that the auditor highlighted.
Yeah, that's a good question, because the one question we asked was, what data is available on those records that I don't recall us getting an answer to?
So if I remember correctly, from what was communicated, there's student personally identifiable information, right? So the address, parent name, the tie to how much is in the account. That's the information. They're pulling all of that from our student information system. And so what Don is looking at in the meantime is, do they need all of those fields to be transferred? Part of it has been just the exchange that our OC and BOCES counterparts have with NutriKids, because we're going through with them for this COSA agreement. Maybe they don't need to take all that information, which would, I guess, free up the risk that's on the district.
But nothing like if they used a credit card to put data or put money in there, that number wouldn't be present, or social security numbers wouldn't be present, or anything like that.
We don't
right?
collect social security numbers, so that wouldn't be anything that we would have. I would assume credit card information, I mean, anytime you make a transaction with a credit card, there's the potential that that's
But it's not stored, you don't keep
I don't, to be honest with you.
So
since we've done the free deals. I haven't
Would need
used
it
the
probably now.
NutriKids system, to be honest with you. So I don't know how many folks are actually utilizing, they're using it for the snacks and the ice creams and things like that. I'm a new dad and I don't, put anything on my kids' accounts for that, so I couldn't tell you.
Just a broad question, given sort of thing, for the corrective action plan, we've seen a number of these things come forward in the last number of months. Are there any significant cost implications with any corrective actions in
You know, most of the time, what they're identifying is typically like record keeping, just making sure that certain systems are in place so that everyone is trained on following those systems. Sometimes when there's a changeover in staff, over the course of time, that's been something that we've had to focus in on. I think that's what, at least the many audits that I've seen here, those are the types of feedback that we end up easily implementing immediately.
Okay, other questions, Sam?
For the correction officer plans, does the audit committee get a report of everything that's been done when it's been corrected?
So what you see here, once we've done this work, we can give the audit committee an update. A lot of times too, when the auditors, my understanding is that when they come back for the next year's audit, they will revisit some of these items in the previous audit to make sure that we were in compliance. So it's not a one and done and you forget about it for 5 years. They do that as part of their incoming review.
Okay, group discussion. Anything else? Ready to vote then? Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Item K, resolve the Board of Education approve the emergency application of herbicide vegetation control treatments pursuant to the attached.
So,
Is that Luke and Jeremy? Okay. Okay, now, I don't remember this one exactly, I know.
So every year, typically around this time frame in July and August, in order, you have to authorize certain herbicides being utilized. Because of the chemicals, we have to be mindful. So football field, track areas, things like that that are highlighted, the board has to authorize their use given the fact that sometimes harmful chemicals are potentially utilized. And so we have this authorization so that there's a period of time where those spaces are not accessible during treatment. Similar to like your home, if you have like a vendor come and put fertilizer down in your lawn, usually they put a little sign that says no use for pets or people for 24 hours. Similar process here for this herbicide vegetation control.
Okay, any other questions, discussion? Vote those in favor?
aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item L, resolve the Board of Education authorizes submission, endorsement of the proposed resolution and bylaw amendment pursuant to the attached.
So moved.
Luke? Andrew? Probably a brief explanation here too.
This first resolution will be signed and sent to NISBA, and this is for safety and security, and this is to ultimately raise or recommend or support legislation that would raise the cap for public service employees, SROs, SRPOs, so that they're not limited within the retirement system, so that they can be within our schools. As communicated at the prior work session, and we're struggling right now with, resolving that issue. We will, but certainly the most effective way for this to happen is for legislature to make some changes.
Yeah, so, as everyone may remember, they've lifted this restriction of 30,000 from any teachers and administrators because of the need. However, they forgot safety officers. So we did have safety officers who reached the limit and said, when you can't earn any more money, aren't going to endanger my mission. So, I think it makes good sense. Any other thoughts, questions? Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Item M, resolve the Board of Education authorize the submission, endorsement of proposed resolution and bylaw amendment pursuant to the attached.
Move.
Christie? Wayne? I do know what this one is. Obviously, we're talking about aging buildings and the fact that right now you can get aid for rehabbing a building, but if you try to replace a building because it's 70 years old, it doesn't make sense to continue to rehab it, you can't get that same aid. So what we are suggesting here is that they establish criteria where you can get that. And as a matter of fact, I had a fairly long discussion with Mike Schuster, who helped write this, and he said there's several instances he knows of where they, have spent good money on bad buildings, and it just doesn't make any sense. He also is very familiar with a couple of our oldest buildings here, and he said that long term they are going to present significant problems. He believes. So the other item here, I don't know if we have to spell it out, is that if you were building a new building to replace an old building, you could possibly better locate it with your population growth. Because when you build something 70 or 80 years ago, it's pretty hard to determine where your population is going to be. So, any other discussion, questions? Okay, so vote those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. N, resolve the Board of Education approve the authorization of application for corrected tax roll for 2023-2024 pursuant to the attached. Don? Second. Jeremy? And got that, we want to just put up the attachment real quick. I mean, you got it there to read, but,
It was just the contemplated mistake on the
that was,
assessment
thank
of
you,
home.
thank you. Okay, got it. Exactly, that was, so it's a very small amount situation, okay. Okay. I don't know if there's any further questions. Vote those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. This may be the most important one.
This may be a discussion.
Resolved that the Board of Education approve the resolution approving the addendum to employment agreement for the superintendent of schools, Dr. Joseph M. Barbary, pursuant to the attached.
So moved.
Andrew, Sam? Okay. Any, we've already discussed this, so I'm assuming nothing else. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Dr. Barbary, congratulations, thank you.
Thank you. I just wanted to say thank you for the continued support, and it is a team effort. It is the entire team, our teachers, our administrators, our support staff members. They're what's making this happen, and I appreciate the support.
We appreciate your hard work. And just as an update, so we've offered, and Dr. DeBarber's agreed to a 5-year contract and a 3.6% raise. We believe this will bring the district the consistency that it's looking for, and we have had an excellent first year with Joe's work, and we expect that to continue and improve. So, thank you. We'll move forward. With that, I think we're ready for the board roundtable, and what we were looking at is just a instruction update. So, I think, Doctor, you can take us through that.
So we have a chart. We have a lot of work occurring on our campus, main campus, and our buildings this summer. The main focus is at Derby Junior High School. You'll see from this graphic what's being completed with the gymnasium. This gymnasium will be offline throughout this entire school year. If we're able to move ahead of schedule, which I'm optimistic, I know others aren't, hopefully we get that back at the beginning of the 25-26 school year, but it's anticipated around December of 2025. There is also work going on for our new family consumer science classroom, which is where the existing boys' locker room is, in the kitchen area, which is replacing the girls' locker room area. As you know, the current gymnasium becomes the cafeteria, so that'll be a gymnasium throughout all of next school year, and hopefully when we're able to transition over, they'll be able to go right into that space. We are looking at keeping the hardwood floor in that space and just resurfacing that so that it can be utilized. It's a large space for maybe winter guard or cheerleading, so that they can hold practices there. It gives us another space when the cafeteria is not being used for student use. Hopefully we'll have the visitor parking lot in the front circle completed, which will help with the main office suite being potentially moved into that location. It really is the front of the building, and that will provide some more space for our visitors. We are waiting for the final approval from SED for the Baker High School and the field work project. We are on the list. We just had a meeting with our architects this morning, and we know it's being reviewed. We're hoping within the next week and a half, we'll hear from SED saying that we're ready to go, and the field work will begin. So our contractors are all set, thanks to the agreements and the letters of intent that we already had submitted back in May. We are submitting, in fact, Victor signed today the document that's going to SED for the site work for Ray Middle School, so that we can have that access road approved by SED. And then we are in the process of also getting approval for the capital outlay project. That was signed and will be submitted to SED. Our goal here over the course of the next month is to come to the board with a reconfiguration plan, which we'll have at our facilities committee meeting on August 5th and at the board work session on August 19th, so that we can present where we believe we need to go moving forward with capital projects, and really lay out our long-term plan for the board to consider, so that we can put forward another capital project for our community to approve over the course of the 24-25 school year. I do want to show some graphics real quickly, because I know there are a lot of board members that were not here when the Derby project was initially approved. And so what I want to highlight here in the orange, this is what is considered new construction. This is a courtyard. The Derby has two courtyards, courtyard number 1, courtyard number 2. Courtyard number 2, which is in orange here, becomes the new gymnasium.
So just to give perspective, the bottom of the screen is where the front bus loop is.
Yeah.
That's now the front bus loop. The left of the screen is where the parking lot is, and most of us enter, and the offices are right there at the bottom, those little jut out.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
This section in red is where we have some of our fine and performing arts currently housed. They will still be in that location. And also in red is where our current cafeteria is and kitchen. That space gets renovated. This becomes what I would refer to as like a STEAM space. Your fine and performing arts, your technology, all will occupy this location, which will be fully renovated. This yellow portion here, this is the current gymnasium. To the left represents the new kitchen area. gymnasium, and then the lighter yellow is our family and consumer science space that it will be new, and that's tied right to the kitchen area with another breakout space for small gatherings. Anything in orange is tied to the gymnasium, new locker room space, fitness center. The blue area is where the old CTE or technology classrooms were. They become science classrooms with mobile partitions so they can be flexible spaces as needed. And then this section in gray becomes the offices, main offices, and guidance. So you'll see the relocation of those to the front of the building. This becomes a new secure vestibule for the security SRO official and attendants. There's a graphic of the gymnasium along with the exterior of the gymnasium, current gymnasium where light will be. They're actually starting to do some of that work within the next couple weeks, I believe. And that's where the cafeteria will be. And here's a view from the soccer fields, tennis courts, looking toward what I would refer to as the back of the building. Of the new gym. I don't know if there's any questions.
So obviously you're gonna displace phys ed and marching and color guard, I guess, works in that gymnasium and.
They use Ray as well. So the good news is right now, we're not gonna have to displace because the gym's being built before we transition. So the gymnasium, even though we don't have the locker room space, it will still be used throughout the 24-25 school year. So there's still going to be, fall, winter athletics, other events, building level events, PE in that space. Other questions?
Discussion, questions?
We will try to give you photographs along the way like we did last summer as we do more with that work.
The next priority would be getting approved for the site work, so you can try to get something done on those fields.
So we're ready to go. So once SED gives us approval, they will within a few days start work because we already have the LOIs that lock us in with those contracts. We actually spoke with the attorney last week on Friday, so we're in a good place. Thursday or Friday, we're in a good place. We're just waiting for SED to say, you're good to go, which should be soon. And our guys have been doing a lot of work. If you happen to drive on the main campus, some of the things that they can remove to expedite the excavation, the site transition, they're doing that work.
Quick question for you, Joe. We now have a municipal resolution proposal going for new field construction. And we've talked a lot in the last several months over this work. It never struck me that courtyards might be considered part of the existing footprint building. And we could actually build those out. Are they subject to the same restrictions that the rest of the footprint of the building is? I'm wondering how high could, if we were to use that second courtyard at some point in the future, how high could we go?
You certainly can go up, but part of the exterior footprint, the courtyard's not considered a space, so that was new construction. So it's within the confines of your footprint. So any place that you have foundation, that's considered existing. So the courtyard is actually not considered a part of that footprint.
So this is new construction?
That is new construction with the gymnasium inside an existing courtyard.
Yeah.
But that does become space. I think with what potential plans we have and working with the architects, there'll be potentially like a 2-story addition on another section of that building, as opposed to using that middle section, mainly because when you're trying to build up, you're dealing with the issues of having to use a crane over, occupied spaces. But I will say though, you will start to see steel, that should be hopefully up by the time school starts. They wanna get all that, work done with the craning before students return in September.
Joe, could we set up maybe a couple of dates, maybe late July or late August for the board to be able to tour all the construction?
Yeah, that would be, either we can do that before my thought is we have a facilities meeting on the, 5th. We could do that before, or we could also do it before the work session on, the 19th.
So I'm thinking maybe do it maybe late July before the before the 5th.
Okay.
And then again in August.
Okay.
Just to give us a handle if people wanna do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can do that. Is there any time? Typically, they're working through like 3, 4 o'clock, so you're looking to do it during the day? Is that?
You guys agree with that?
Those that can make it? Yeah, that absolutely would be easier, just because we'll have the contractors there and our project managers that will give everyone a hard hat and we'll march our way around.
Yeah.
Okay, yep, we'll do that.
Thank you. Any other questions, discussions? Okay, moving on, I believe we're ready for executive, resolve Board of Education enter into executive session for collective negotiations pursuant to the Taylor Law, discuss the substitute teacher's contract, and for the purpose of discussing the employment history of a particular person. Wayne, Tom? Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. 5 minutes, we'll go into exec. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chad?